Hello, everybody. We're back. I missed us, honestly. So I'm really happy to see you on this video again. So if you're watching this video, please just consider subscribing, and click the like button so that we could keep up with that algorithm. So yeah, it's just a continuation of what we've been delivering. So today we're speaking about fitra, and fitra is an Arabic term, as you can see on the screen. So this is an Arabic term that is often translated as innate disposition. So, in other words, it's the purity of every child that is born. Every child is born pure, and it's up to the parents to change that child. And the child is going to be either a Jewish or who belong to a religion of Zoroastrianism, or the child could be a Christian, depending on the parents, or the child could be a Muslim if the parents are Muslim. But basically, the natural faith or believing in one creator definitely is always there, but it depends on the parents, and then the child is going to follow the traditions and the culture and the religions and the faith of the parents. So basically, we're not speaking about specifically the father. So it's the influence of the father and the mother, and mostly the influence of the mother because the mother spends more time with the child than the father. So that could be a very good example. So so basically, what happens is the hadith says كل مولود يولد على الفطرة, that every child that is born on fitra, which is the purity and the natural beliefs that every child is born with. The child is always having that, that pure heart faith, not racism, not tribalism in that person, and at the same time, even the faith that they have is the universality of the belief of one creator, those kind of beliefs. And then afterwards, the parents are going to change the child. If the parents are definitely Jewish, then the child is going to become Jewish. Okay, and as you know, we've spoken about this before, that there are three monotheistic religions that are all deriving from one prophet, who's Prophet Abraham, which is Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. So this is just an example, but we don't want to dissect, because the hadith itself says, "كل مولود يولد على الفطرة." Every child that is born with that fitra, without natural instinct of believing in one God. And then at the same time, imma abawahu, it's either the parents are going to make the child become a Jewish, or the two parents are going to make the child become belonging to Zoroastrianism, or the parents are going to make a child to become a Christian, or even a Muslim, and so on. So basically, it depends on the parents and the upbringing of the parents to this child. So this is what makes a person. So when it comes to other situations and other kind of behaviors, it depends on the company. So the company that you keep will make that person. So you would see in most cases others, if for example you have role models in your family, you have people that you could look up to, maybe they are educated people. If a child comes from an educated family, in most cases, lots of the children will be educated. So the opposite is also the same. Although somebody could be different, even if they're coming from a family which is coming from an educational background, or they're coming from a poor background, they could actually be opposite to what their background is. So that too happens. But you could see that the influence of the parents, according to this hadith, which is the hadith of Prophet Muhammad, these results are very common, where the parents play a major role in the child. They could make a child become a Jewish, or they'll make a child become a Christian or any other religion. And this doesn't mean like these religions that are mentioned here, they are the religions that are looked up to as not being good religions. No, we don't mean that. And it's even written here on the text, as you can see. It doesn't mean that at all. So it's just a reference that was given in the hadith as an example, and then the rest follows. If a person comes from a political affiliated family, you'll see that the child has lots of political influence. He could even become a politician, or she could become a politician if she's a girl child, and so on. So Those are the tips that we wanted to share, because if you're not inculcating good knowledge to your own children, then something else is going to take over and something else will educate your children. For example, in the past, we had an influence of social media, where a lot of children were influenced with social media and different devices and apps over social media and games, etc. But now we have artificial intelligence, we have the AI. So the AI basically it also depends on how you're going to utilize it. Whether a child could extract good knowledge from it, or a child could extract something negative if it is utilized negatively. So these are some of the I wouldn't say the dangers as such, but just some of the things that a person should actually look at and pay much attention on, and then try to inculcate what is right to the children. Try to spend a little bit of some time with your own children. You could go take a walk or jog around with your own children, or you could go upskilling in the outskirts, in the countryside. So maybe that could help the child, where the child is going to get educated from you as a parent, because as it says here, it all depends on the parents. And if you see that some of these behaviors that you have, or some of the ethos that you have, are not good enough for the child, then you don't have to expose it to the child, or you don't have to, inculcate it into this poor child. You'd rather allow the child to learn things that are good and not the things that you have taken as your bad habits. So, with these few words, we hope this is going to help. So, we were speaking about the word known as fitra, which is highlighted here in red at the beginning. It's a very important word. So, in other words, just like the originality in mankind, in every human being, the originality is like there is always good and kindness in all people, but it depends on their background, and that background could mess them up to and then other people with a good background, that background could play a major role in helping other human beings. So this is what it is. And this hadith is in actually one of the books of hadith known as Muslim, in in the topic of destiny. So in other words, you could see like from these few words, the destiny itself starts from the beginning. When a child is born, the moment you come out, you've been given a name, and then you've been given probably a home, which is the home of your parents, and at the same time you are even given a religion, and that depends on where the parents are coming from, if they are Jewish or they are Christians or they are Muslims or they are Hindus, etc. Then yeah, there you have it. So you're going to take that as your religion without even asking any question, and besides they don't allow you to ask any questions because it's going to be a taboo. So that's basically what it is. And this is what the hadith speaks about, that it all depends on your parents or your guardians that are raising that child. With these few words, I'm glad to meet you again on this one. So if you're watching this for the first time, consider subscribing and click that like button so that we could keep up with the algorithm. Thank you and see you in the next one. Bye.